Welcome to Makers Pod, Conversations by Alan Gray Makers. You'll get to learn from artisan entrepreneurs that are building great businesses across South Africa. These are their stories. Welcome back to Makers Pod. We use this platform to learn from artisan entrepreneurs that are building really great businesses and want to empower you to learn more about their own journey. Today, we have a really special guest.
My name is Vonti Itumeleng Mashego. I'm the founder of JW Aluminium and Glass, also known as JW Projects, which is based in the East Rand. We deal with manufacturing and installation of aluminium windows and doors and shop fronts. And then we specialize mostly in the residential areas. And we've started expanding into the bigger markets, which is your malls, the call centers, the bigger projects, yeah.
So what did it look like when you were actually starting this business?
So from the onset, I already knew that I wanted to be in business and I wanted to be in construction, to be specific. But I had a job as I've got a degree in finance. So yeah, I pretty much have a background in terms of running of a business of operation. Yeah. So I've been in the aviation space for over 15 years. And then right there and then, that's when I knew that, you know what, I want to start this business and I want to be in construction. And then I met a partner of mine who was already in the space of the aluminium and glass. And then we had a discussion, we planned, and we discussed how we're going to start the business. We went into partnership. And then eventually we started the business. I registered the company. I gave him 20% shares. I was owning 80%. We started with the business. I was more on the office side of things. He was more on the operational. So, in the workshop or installations. So we went on, but, in partnership, if you don't have a common goal, it's obviously it's not going to happen. So what happened is we ended up parting ways. And then that's when I founded the company that I'm running now, which is JW Aluminium and Glass, and I'm the sole owner of the company. And then currently I employ about 4 permanent staff, and then I've got casual staff that I actually get in as and when I require.
It's really amazing that you can share so much about that journey, and just like the difficulties of having partners and like the journey that you've gone through there. What did it look like when you were trying to find startup funding for your business? I think that background in financing definitely came in handy.
No, definitely. So, to be quite honest, I started from my own savings. So I was employed. I had a salary, and I just thought, you know what? At some point, I need to start this thing. So I believe in a saying that start with what you have. No matter how little, you start with what you have. So I took funds. So even before I quit the job that I was in, my last vehicle that I bought with my payslip at my previous employer, at my employer, I knew right there and then that after this I'm going into business. So the bike that I'm using currently, I bought it from when I was employed. You know what I mean? So right there and then I knew that after this, I'm not going to have a pay slip to be able to go and buy a vehicle. So let me use this opportunity to buy a vehicle so that once I'm in business, I can be able to use this vehicle. So with what I had, gathered a couple of funds, we registered the businesses, we did all the compliances, and then we rented a space. We started with the little that we had. We started marketing the business. We started advertising. And then from then we bought equipment that could get us, get the job done, even though it's not as efficient as we would want it to be, but, get the job done, which we started and we moved. And until we got to a point where we parted ways, even then, I did not wait for me to get funds elsewhere. With whatever I had, I moved on. So we currently renting a space. We've got a workshop in Boksburg, and then we've got a back end, and we've got the staff members, we've got the equipment to get the job done. Even though it's not the most efficient, but it is there to get the job done. Yeah.
How important does, having a background in finance become when you have limited funds?
Yeah.
So you really want to make sure that the equipment you buy drives the most impact. Right?
Correct.
Like it can help your business grow the best way.
Yeah.
So how are you making those decisions to say, this is the most important thing that can help us get the job done?
Yeah.
This is what can help us grow.
Yeah.
But then also, how do you manage those funds as you try and like work with a limited budget?
Yeah. So what you do is you identify what's the most critical or item or tool that you need or equipment that you need in the business, and what funds does it require, and from your savings can you be able to sort of secure that equipment or that tool. If once you get that right, then you start moving. As and when funds start coming in, business comes in, you can get all the other tools that you can get. But as long as you've got the start, to go with the business. So the other thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are scared of, or rather they're waiting for, is that they have a plan, but they wait for funding to start the business, as opposed to starting the business and then go look for funding to expand. Yeah. So with the little that I had, I started with the little equipment to get the job done, and then we moved from there.
How has like just getting the right equipment at the right time really helped grow your business?
So obviously, as you move along, you realize the type of jobs that come in. You realize how much which equipment you use the most.
It's a very important thing that you have that perspective where you're not waiting for the money to come before you start.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's like, Ish, I just don't have the money? Is there a way to, find sources of income, or even just like, borrowing whatever it is, just to get that start?
Yeah. So my advice would be, so you don't necessarily need to start at a workshop setup like we did when we started, right? So you can even start from your backyard, So the thing is, you need to have that plan. You need to show that you really want this to happen. Once you have all of those, even somebody that gives funding, as long as that they can see that you want to do this thing, and you've already started with the little that you have, and this is where you are able to deliver the product, even though you're not manufacturing the stuff from where you would like to manufacture the stuff, but from where you are, even at the back of your yard, you start there. As you move along, there's programs like Allen Gray, like we did, like we applied. You look for those opportunities. You don't just sit and say you're waiting for funding. You look for opportunities. You put in applications for funding, and wherever you can get funding, you use that to expand to the next level.
Yeah, I like the mindset that you have about just doing things rather than waiting, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, obviously, your business grows to a point where you do need funding.
Yeah.
What did the journey of trying to access funding early in your business look like?
The journey looked like this. So you obviously, as with what you've started, with what you have, as you move along, the business that you have on a daily basis or whenever on a weekly basis, that stuff sort of keeps your business running. So it's almost your operational cash flow coming in, right? So it's not funds that you would say you want to reinvest in the business, because it's not so much coming in. So we look for programs like Allen Gray. We applied for Allen Gray because we believe that at some point we will be able to get capital investment, buying the correct tools and most probably adding maybe a vehicle into the business. So I think if you don't wait for the moment, but you start wherever you are, you will definitely get to where you want to get to.
Yeah. Has there been a way that you found funding in your business so far?
Yeah, I must be honest. The only funding that I got is a grant that we got from Allen Gray when we did the startup program.
I see.
We got a grant, and I managed to buy some tools, some power tools with the funds. And outside of that, I have not received any funding. And I'm glad now that Allen Gray has now launched another funding that we'll be able to access. Besides that, I have not really applied for any other funding. I've done an application through GPE, which they've assisted me in terms of compliance, the safety files that we have when we go to sites. That part was done. So I could say that's also funding. But those are the only ones that I have done so far. But if you ask me, any other funding that I would like in the business will definitely be a capital funding. If I would be able to get, more efficient equipment, and rather maybe, because currently, like I said, we're only using a single bucket, and if it breaks down, Lord knows how we're gonna go ahead with the business. Yeah.
You know, how important does getting the right equipment in your business become as you grow, right? And when you've got that little bit of funding, whether it's the grant, whether it's like outside investment, how important does the equipment itself become to getting the job done, but also growing the business?
So the importance of getting the right equipment in the business helps in a sense of, number one, the quality that you deliver. So once you've got the right equipment, the quality will not be compromised. Yes, we do deliver the quality that we want to, we do deliver the quality, but if you've got the right equipment, it's more efficient. You know, we don't waste so much time. So for example, manufacturing an aluminium window with the equipment that we have currently probably take about an hour to 2 hours, right? Including the glazing of the window and. But with the efficient equipment, the powered equipment that I would want us to get, it could take us pretty much maybe 25% of the time, maybe 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So with that, connecting it to growth, if I am able to manufacture 4 windows within an hour, and somebody needs 4 hours to manufacture those 4 windows, that impacts on the growth. Because if I go to a developer or somebody that's building an estate and they've got 40 houses that they need to build, they give me the schedule to say, this is the windows that we'll need and these are the times that we'll need. If I've got the correct tools, I'll definitely deliver to the client on time and I'll definitely get more business out of him. But if with the tools that I have currently, I'll probably take longer. They probably might think that I'm a chancer, even though I'll be delivering quality. But in terms of timing, you know, lead time of the product,
Yeah. Are there any risks that come with, you know, being a small business that's acquiring these equipments and being able to manage them as well?
Yeah, they are definitely. Because now, for example, in as much like I told you, currently we're doing, you know, households leads through the local pros. But once we start to move into the bigger businesses, you know, even when you go for a pitch or maybe you go for a meeting, you know, as you pull up, you know, coming there with a branded vehicle, that gives you more confidence. And I want to tell you now that more of these big companies, before they do business with you, they will go and do their due diligence to check, where are you located? Can we come and visit your workshop? You know, they would want to see the equipment that you're using. So if they come through and they see that, you know what, you've got this, but not for our business, you know, chances are you might not get the business because of you only have one buggy, you only have these small machines. Yes, you can get the job done, but not for our business. Even though you know for a fact that you can carry out that job, but because obviously with what they see, they will not tend to believe you. But if you've got the efficient equipment and you've got the relevant vehicles to carry out the job, you definitely get more business from these big guys, and business will grow. You employ more people and inspire more people.
You're so right.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned earlier just the exciting news of the Alan Gray Makers Fund, you know, the Amara Fund, and just the amazing opportunities that presents for artisan entrepreneurs like you who want to grow their businesses and want to access capital and financing that can really help them, you know, move things to the next level. And I really hope that, you know, you'll be one of the first people in line.
No, 100%. Already on the line.
You know, what piece of advice would you give someone who wants to build an artisan business and, you know, has been stuck in that mode of, I don't have money. And I still want to do this thing. But, you know, what's the advice you'd give them?
The advice is that, obviously, like I said, you need to have a solid plan. You need to have the drive for this thing that you want to start this thing. And number 2, you need to do your research. I mean, I found out about Alan Gray because I was doing business with Kandua previously, and that's how I managed to get in through. So you need to, there's things that you need to do, you know, to show that, in fact, even if you get the funding, you will definitely go bigger. But you can't go and say, I want to get into the tender business, but I don't have money. Then you just go and register a business, then you sit, and all you do is submit. But you need to start something so that you have something moving, so that whatever comes in as funding, then you're already there. You know what I mean?
I appreciate how practical this advice is, and I think anyone that's building a business like this can really think about it differently.
Yeah.
Where can people learn more about your business and find you?
So we are on Facebook. We are on the social media platforms. It's JW Aluminium and Glass. We've got a website, jwprojects.co.za. Everything, all the information regarding our business is there. Yeah, and we looking to expand the business, but we first want to get this one right, this section first right, and then we want to move into things like blinds and shutters and security gates. But we want to get this one right and correct equipment, and then we'll move to the other businesses. There is potential for the other businesses, but we just don't want to clock everything together at once.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much for joining us for Makers Pod. Another really great guest, and really learning about the practical part of accessing financing, but also the impact that it has in your business. Thank you so much for joining us.